on this brand new week. Weather-wise, it's dull and dreary, and the weather was not great weather-wise, but it was nice overall in terms of what I was up to. I hope you had a lovely weekend as well. I hope you're going to be making some lovely things today. Am I live? What's going on? Okay, finally, I'm getting a few notifications. It's going to be one of those. Camera seems to be going a little bit slow today, but it's Monday morning, so we'll let it off. I'm going to be making for you some lovely necklaces today. If you are here and if you can see me okay, can you drop me a little comment? Okay, my tally's going up a little bit. I'm panicking. What's not working? So I'm going to be making a necklace with you today. It is a very straightforward make to do, but it is quite time consuming. I'm going to be making, I'll show you it, this lovely looped effect. So I've put 2 necklaces on here. There's 4 different colours to choose from. We've got a gold and we've got a silver colourway, which is your jump rings, your chain and the clasp that sits at the back of your neck. And we are creating these little loops. Now I'm using the 0.25 nylon because it's invisible thread and you can't see any of the knots or anything that we create with this. So you're making the individual loops up. There's 2 that link together and there's enough in your kit so you've got 20 loops in total, so there'll be 10 that go across in those links because they're doubled up, which means you've got about 400 pearls in the necklace. So although it's a very quick make, it is quite time consuming. It's took me a little while to put these samples together, but they create, I think, a really lovely kind of beaded chain effect. So I'm going to say hello to you because you've come in and you're chatting away to me, which I'm very grateful for. So good morning to Rachel, who's in a wet and dull barrow. Good morning to Anne, who says good morning, everybody. Hello to Enka, I think I'm pronouncing, hopefully your name not too incorrectly. Good morning to Teresa. Hello to Camille. She says it's a bit cold today. It felt really cold yesterday. Good morning to Jan, who's in a sunny but cool Sudbury. Elaine's in as well in a damp, dull Accrington. Good morning to Anastasia, who's watching in Atlanta, Georgia. Debbie says, ooh, these look pretty. Good morning to you, Debbie. Hello to Joanne in an overcast Coventry. Pauline is in as well, and Joanne says these necklaces are lovely. Thank you so much. I don't think I've ever done them before, so it was nice to do something a little bit different, though, you know, it did take me a little while, but I did enjoy doing them. Good morning to Trish. Good morning to Judith. And hello to Mina in a cloudy Leicester. Okay, I'm going to take you over to the website now so you can have a little look at the kits. And hopefully my camera will play ball. So head over to totallybeads.co.uk if you would like to get your hands on these kits so you can make along with me. It's going to have absolutely everything you need other than your tools. And in terms of tools, the only thing I think you will need is some little cutters and some chain nose pliers to open up your jump rings at the end and your chain at the end. It's all done by hand. If you wanted, you could do this with a needle, you could do it with thread, but I think using the nylon just makes it a little bit firmer and creates those loop shapes very nicely. So head into the video tutorial category over on the website when you get there, and you can have a little scroll down to see today is the Juno looped pearl necklace. So 4 lovely colours. Maybe it's not my camera that's slow. Maybe it's the laptop because I'm clicking and it doesn't want me to go in. There we go. Bear with me today, please. It's doing its own thing. So we've got a light aqua, which is on a gold chain and findings. We've got pastel purple, which to me doesn't look like a purple. I had a little conversation when I was putting these together with Laura in the warehouse, and I said to Laura, what colour would you say these were? And she did say it has a hint of purple, so maybe it's just my eyes. To me, they look more kind of silvery, maybe maybe a tone of blue, but if like that's what it's called, then that's what it is. We've also got a peach, which is kind of like a goldy colour, which is lovely. And we've got the rosewood, which I would say is more purple than the pastel purple. They're all £6.99. It makes one full necklace up. You're getting 40 centimetres, I think, of your chain, so plenty in there. And you're getting enough pearls and enough of the nylon to make 20 of those loops. I have done some samples a little bit smaller because it depends on you as the the creator, what you like the look of. And if you want to do less, then you've still got plenty of chain if you wanted to make two, if you had some findings at home in terms of your jump ring and your clasp. That's the only extras that you need. But all of that will be included to make one necklace in these kits for £6.99. And Simon's kindly put a buy two and get 15% off as well. So I'll go into the light aqua to begin with, and you can have a little look. So I'm just creating these lovely loops that sit together, creating this really lovely full effect. The pearls that I'm using are glass pearls, and they are 3mm rounds. So you're using, if you're creating 20 links, I'm using 20 on each loop. So you're going to get loads of pearls. I think it's about 3 strands of pearls in there. And again, you can make it bigger or smaller and do whatever you like. You're going to get your chain, your jump rings, your lobster clasp, and the nylon thread. So the nylon thread is a 0.25 and goes through the beads a good few times. You can see it's here if you want to have a little look. That is not the colour of the light aqua. It's clearly not the colour of the light aqua. Your chain is oval and it is a 4x3, so you're getting a lovely chain in there. This is the colour of the light aqua. They are aqua. They are a beautiful blue. There's no disputing that. So that is £6.99. We've got the pastel purple. I'll show you them on the mat as well. Do you think they're purple? I suppose maybe. It is a pastel. You tell me what you think they look like, because I suppose it depends on the light. But again, just creating those links with the nylon thread and then hanging from the chain, that is probably more true to the colour. And this is on the silver chain with your silver findings. Your lobster clasp will be 12mm and your jump rings will be 6mm outer diameter. So that one is the pastel purple colourway. This is the peach, which has got a lovely warm tone to it. I've popped that on the gold. And if you want, you can mix this up. So if you want to make the most of that 15% off and get 2 of them, you could get one of the gold colourways, you could get one of the silver colourways, and then you can change your chain over if you wish. So that one is your peach. And then lastly, we've got this gorgeous rosewood as well. If you wanted to, you could mix these colours up. I think they would look lovely if you mix those pastel colours up, maybe creating 2 links in one colour, 2 in another. Entirely up to you. £6.99, buy 2 and get 15% off. So you've got 4 colours to choose from today. A computer is going slow. But I'm raring to go, so let's sit here. Camille says they look grey. Mina says yes, blue but very light. Anastasia says it looks more grey silver. Yeah, so I'm glad you're agreeing with me. It might be my eyes. I put so many projects together for you at that point. Then I thought maybe I'd started to go a little bit colourblind and I just couldn't tell anymore. Hey, good morning to Esther. Hello, my lovely. She's in a very dull Preston. Star's in as well, and she's giving me rainbows. I think she's in Philly. I hope you are well. Good morning to Kath. Rachel says, not sure if it's the lightning and your blue top, but you look as if you're having blue tips in your hair. Oh, I hope not. I've not long just had it coloured. It's I could rock the blue. It's It might be just the light. I've got the light there, but it should be blonde. Should be. Good morning to Susan. I hope you are well. Who's watching in Costa Rica? Buenos dias to you, my lovely Susanna. Tracy's in as well. Carol's in. Sally's in. She says, hope we're all well. Little overcast in Torbay. Jan says very different and pretty necklaces. Pauline says they look unusual as well. So Pauline likes the aqua, so that's what I'm going to make with it as well, if the camera plays ball. It's going to be one of those mornings. Okay, so this is the rosewood. My hands low. Okay, so you can see here, I'm going to struggle, aren't I, if it's freezing like it is. Let's see if it can catch up with me. Good morning, Lisa. Okay, so I'm creating links. I'm not going to be able to work like this. I've already switched it off and on. Will it catch up? Will it catch up? Okay, so please play along. Maybe try the other browser. Yeah, I know I'm freezing, Mina. Okay, let me take a deep breath and let's try the different browser and hope I don't get horrific feedback on sound. Oh, I'm so sorry. I did try and ensure we were all ready to go. My computer's been ready and then it's now decided it's going to be temperamental. Put your fingers in your ears for a quick second for me, just in case. Do that. Yeah, I'm going to get feedback. I've closed all my other tabs off. I've made sure I'm not overheating. I'm fully charged. I mean, I'm going to find it very difficult with this camera upwards. I'm so sorry, everybody. Please be patient with me. Right, let's see. Okay, for now, it's slow, but it's still okay, I think. I will talk you through as much as I can. So if it is a little bit slower, I will do my absolute best to explain it. So I'm making these links. These are your rosewood beads, and you can see they've got that lovely kind of stretch to it, but using that nylon thread makes it really lovely and strong. So you can make that with as many links as you want to. We've got the aqua on the gold, and they do sit nicely as well. They sit nice and close together. We've got the peach. Didn't put a clasp on this one because it just popped it on the bust. So I would say, you know, they're fairly peach. Come on. But these are the ones we're all debating about this morning. Okay, now right there on the camera, there is a lavender colour to them. But that's not pastel purple. But that's what they called them. For me, they're a beautiful silver with a hint of blue. I don't know whether this is going to be very, very productive. Okay, I'm going to get my aqua beads out. I'm going to get my my nylon. So I'm keeping my nylon on the reel. It is invisible thread. Yeah, Camille says they're more yellow gold than peach as well, the others. I agree. We'll call them lavender, Trish, but then that's not what they're on the website. So I'm going to take my strand of pearls. Now, there's various different ways that you can thread these on. I want to make 20 per loop. So one of the techniques I've found is if I line up my invisible thread with my pearls on the string, if I line it up, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I can usually just push them along. So I'm just lining that first pearl up. It worked before. And then I should be able, it's a little bit of coating on this pearl, so there you go. Once I've lined it up, I can just slide them along. So 4, 5, 6, 7. 8. Come on, 8. 9, 10. So I tend to just line it up like this and then slide them along. And what I tend to do is I will, because if I'm using about 400 pearls, I'm going to need 3 strands taken from my thread that the pearls come on and then onto the nylon. So what I tend to do is I thread all of my pearls on first and keep my nylon on the reel. And I find that is the quickest way to go about it. So I'm just lining that nylon up, and then what happens is the whole of the beads are all still lined up because they're all on the strand, and you can see I can just slide them across. I do apologise if I'm freezing a little bit. So I take them in kind of little clusters and I'm just sliding them across like so. So hopefully you can see this is really easy, and when it works like it's doing at the moment, it's a nice quick way to thread on to your strand. So just trim off the end of your strand to take the little knot out, line up your beads against your nylon. You can count as you go if you want to. Camille says your nails match the beads. I did them last night, and after we had a little conversation on the live last week, I did them the good old-fashioned way. I painted them and I waited for them to dry. They do match, don't they? Another way you can do to speed yourself up is take a few. So I tend to pinch them between my finger, and I might take, say, 4 or 5. Come on, camera. Hello. Okay. And I pinch them between my finger, and I try and keep them lined up so that hole is still lined up, and then I can just slide the nylon through. So you can do it that way instead as well. And I just find it's just a little bit quicker than picking them up one by one by one by one. Because when you're using this many pearls, as I say, there's nothing I need to do in terms of a pattern repeat or anything like that. It's just 20 pearls for each loop. So when I do them like that, it's just a quick way of getting lots on my strand. So you can see now I've managed to transfer. When the camera plays, it should transfer all of those beads nicely onto my nylon. Okay, so what I'm going to do is once I've strung my beads on, I'm going to count 20. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 2, 4, 6, 8, 20. Now you'll probably need about, I've been really generous to make sure you've got plenty of nylon. You're probably going to need about 20 centimetres. So what I'm going to do is I'm then going to cut off my nylon thread. So I've still got my beads attached to my reel, and I've got my 20 glass pearls onto my nylon. When the camera plays along with me, I'm just going to do a little overhand knot. So I'm just bringing that nylon thread through the middle. Please play ball. And then I'm drawing it in together. Now what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to pull it tight all the way, because I don't want the beads to move and slip over. So before it comes all the way together, those beads form that full loop, I'm just going to wrap another overhand knot, so it's just like a double knot. And then as I pull it close together, you'll see those beads will form and make a circle. So I've got my first little loop. I'm now going to take the end of my nylon thread and I'm going to bring it back through the pearls. Now this is why it can be a little bit time consuming. Now I've got a lamp in my face as well, so do bear with me. But I'm just threading the nylon. So where those two pieces have come together and crossed, I'm just going to pass it back through the loop. So I'm just going to move it and you'll see it's coming out that next pearl. So I'm not doing a surgeon's knot with this. You can do, and the thread of course is invisible, so you won't see it, but I want those pearls to be looped really close together. So when I form that loop, it creates, one kind of continuous circle. I do tend to bend it a little bit, and then that will poke my thread out of the bead, and then just pull that round. So I'm going to work my way round on both sides, traveling to the opposite side of where that knot is. So you might find sometimes you can line your beads up together and you can get it through quite a few all at once. Trying to see where it's coming out. If I can't see, sometimes I take it back a little bit, so it will just come through the other side. And again, bringing it round. So you could do this with a needle, but you would have to be careful that the needle doesn't, the sharp bit of the eye of the needle doesn't snap your nylon. If you do it with thread, it just tends to not hold its shape quite as lovely. So all I'm doing is I'm taking the end of the invisible thread and finding the hole in the pearl. And bringing that through. So I'll bring those threads all the way around to the other side so they come out next to each other. So travelling along. bring this one back. So just keep kind of flipping it over really. Let me get this through that hole. I've got a lamp right in my face. Just going to move a little bit of coating off that pearl. So this is why I like to start with probably about 20 centimetres of the nylon, because I've got plenty then to bring it back through and to hold on to. Can be a little bit fiddly. Then you won't be doing it with people watching you in a rush with a freezy camera. Okay. So when you've brought those two threads, they should come out here together. I'm going to just tie another overhand knot. This is just going to make it super sturdy. And you can be quite forceful with this. They're not going to break. And you can see now I've got that perfectly formed loop. I've got one loop on one side, one knot on one side and one knot on the other side. And then I'm going to take those tails again and I'm just going to pass it through just a couple of the pearls to travel it away from the knot. And you don't have to do the double knots, but I just want to make sure it's really, really sturdy. So it's gone through, but I don't know where it's come out. So I'm just going to bring it back through a couple of them just to travel it away from the knot. So I've gone through two pearls on one side again. And away from the knot on the other side. And then I can cut off any excess to form my loop. So I want to make two of my loops. I did have one I made earlier. Where has that just disappeared to? I had one ready made because I figured we'd need to speed up. Where is it gone? There it is. So I'm going to do two individual little loops. Good morning, Helen. Thank you for joining me. We are painstakingly making a Juno looped pearl necklace, but as you can see, my hands keep freezing. So I've got 20 on one, 20 on the other, and then I'm going to bring another 20 up. So I've got two separate at the moment. So I'm going to hold the end of my thread and I'm going to count 20 pearls. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So I've got 20 on my strand. I'm going to trim off my nylon and drop it down into the middle. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring these two loops together and I'm going to bring my nylon through the middle of both of those loops. And then I'm going to tie my knot just as before. So overhand knot, but I'm not bringing it all the way closed. That's just what I've found easier, because then the pearls can slip through. When I do my other overhand knot, I can draw it together, and that's created that loop around those. I then take my thread, and just as I did before, I'm going to bring it through my pearls. You don't have to double knot it if you don't want to, but I do find it just gives me that extra kind of security when I'm starting to feel like I have, created that chain. So I'll bring my thread on each side around the opposite side, away from the knot. So you can see sometimes it just goes through a few at the same time. Other times you might just want to go in and out each pearl. And the nice thing about having the nylon is it's sturdy enough to kind of use as a needle, if that makes sense. So it's quite strong. It doesn't have to be particularly even, so you can bring it through with one side, more than the other end if it's easier. Just want to get it to travel so those knots are away from each other. So I only need to bring it back through one more pearl, and my ends will be together again. Bringing it through more than one. I only need it through one more, so I'm just going to bring it back. Take it through the other side. There we go. So the ends of my thread are now together. Nina says they look like cute rings. You could do it as a ring. You'd need to use these small pearls if you were doing a ring, because you don't want it too chunky on the finger. I then wrap another overhand knot and another one. So 2 little double knots, pull it nice and taut so you've got that continuous loop, and then take the thread back through. Oh dear, I am going to cut this short today because I think it's, as long as you see how it works, but it's just a bit frustrating to watch. I do apologise. It's always going to do it on the most fiddly little make, isn't it? Okay, so I've knotted on one side, I've knotted on the other side, and then taking the thread and I'm just bringing it away from the knot. So I'm going to take it through just a couple of pearls on one side, and then that extra thread. Am I freezing for everybody else as well? So take the thread away from the knot and then trim off. I just don't want to cut next to my knot, and then if my knot does come loose, so I don't need any glue or anything like that. So you can see I've started to form the second chain length. So I've got 2 now together, hooked on with another one, and then we'll do exactly the same, counting 20 pearls. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 2, 4, 6, 820. Making sure I've got lots of my nylon so it's not fiddly. And now I'm going to bring that through. So you will see I've got 3 links. Oh, thank you so much for being so kind. I'm going to bring this again through that too. So bring those 2 together. Nylon thread's going to come through the middle. So this will create my next double. So I'm always doubling up. I'm using 20 pearls on each loop, and I'm always going to have 2 links linked together. So bringing the nylon thread into a first loop, but I'm not pulling it fully tight because I don't want those pearls to kind of slip in to the knot. As I bring down that next knot, it will close it fully. What I love about using the nylon, and I know I do say it, I prefer using the nylon quite often over like a cotton thread, because not only is it invisible, but it gives me the opportunity to untangle myself if I do get into any knots. I'm not a stitch beader by nature. That's not my forte. And I often, though I am making a bracelet with you actually on Friday, and that will be stitched. There'll be needles involved. But I do tend to find that if this ever knots and tangles, it's really, really easy to just unpick. So, you know, if you do make any mistakes, you can unpick it really easily. But it's very hard to make a mistake with this. As long as you've got 20 pearls on each loop, it's just looping them together before you tie that knot. So bringing it round. You will find sometimes there is a little bit of the colour coating over the pearl, and that can mean you sometimes just need to give it a little wiggle to get it through. But using the 0.25 is really, really strong, and it gives that that nice shape and structure, but also it's thin enough to go through the pearls a good couple of times. If I ever can't see where it's going, I just pull it back a little bit until I can see it popping out between them. So taking the end, going roughly round to the other side. Just until the 2 ends meet. I want you to see how easy this is to do. It's probably looking like it's taking a lot longer because the camera is going so slow. I'm just bringing it through, swap it over if you find it's easier to just flip it around, using your dominant hand to just guide it through the pearls. Keep bringing it through. I'm not going to show you it all today. I'm showing you it all in terms of what you need to do, but I'm not going to make 20 loops up or 10 links, because we will definitely be here over the hour. So when my threads come back together, Pauline's asking, could you use larger beads? Yeah, you could, Pauline. I'm sure you could. I quite like the this size because they're quite dainty, and I just feel they sit nice on the loop. But you can do, yeah. You probably wouldn't need 20 pearls though if you were using bigger size, unless you want really large loops. And you could do this as a bracelet as well if you wanted to. So I've just done another 2 overhand knots. The threads come through. So I'm taking it about at least 2 pearls away from the knot. So just putting a little bit of tension just to make a little kind of gap so I can just see how I'm bringing it, where I'm bringing it through. It's coming out the top. Give it a gentle little pull so you can see, you can't see at all, hello camera, where that knot is. The invisible thread is invisible, but also your knot can kind of just hide in between your pearls, slip in between it. So now I've got 2 links. Angela says it would not be easier. Would it not be easier to do it with a big eye needle? You could do it with a big eye needle. I just find when you're making the loop to bring it back through, the needle's long, so I feel like I need to bend the needle usually to get it in the loop. I also feel because the eye of a big eye needle is can be quite sharp, it can split your nylon. But if it's easier for you, then absolutely try it, whatever works best for you. So what you will do is you will continue all of your loops until you've got 10. So I did this in as a smaller, but I've got 20 and there'll be enough to do 20. So you've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18 on this one. You can do as many as you want, but there's enough to get 20 loops. Attaching them together as 10 links, and then all you need to do is attach them to your chain. So you're going to get 40 centimeters of your chain in your kit, and all you will need to do to attach it is open up your jump ring. If you've got 40 centimeters and you want to use it all, then by all means do. It depends how long you want it to sit. So there's 2 ways of getting your chain lengths. You can line it up. Good morning, alumni. I hope you're well. You can line it up together, find the center and open it out, or you can attach it to your necklace first and then find the middle and then add on your findings. I'm just going to lay it there on the mat and get them about equal, or you can measure it with your ruler, whatever you want to do. I'm suggesting that that is the middle link. I'll just run it through my fingers to make sure, come on camera, that they are even. And then I'm just going to open it up just like I would do a jump ring. So I've got 2 even lengths of chain. I'm going to open up my jump ring and attach that to the last link of the chain. And then I'm also going to put it around my loop. So I'm just going to pretend that I've got more than these 2 joined together. Just going to bring it around the pearls. When it's longer, then there's a little bit more kind of weight to it. I suppose it is very lightweight, but I can just get that jump ring around both. And then close that up. So it will sit like this. And then I will do the same on the other side. So you'll need 4 jump rings, which will be in your kit, and 1 lobster clasp. So I'm going to open up my jump ring quite wide to hook over both loops of the pearl. You can put your chain on first, you can put your chain on second. And then close that over, making sure it's nice and fully closed so it will sit around your loops. And then it's just a case of attaching my clasp on. So again, opening up my jump ring by turning it a little bit towards me, just to open it up. Oh gosh, this is so frustrating. Come on, camera. Hook that onto the end of your chain, add on your clasp, and close it over by moving it away from yourself. So you either, when you're opening it up, you're either moving it, your pliers towards you or away from you. You only need to open it just a little bit. We don't want to distort the shape of that jump ring. Attach through your last link of your chain and then close it back up again. So that is my teeny tiny necklace, but I suppose it makes a nice pendant as well. I'll take you back onto the website and I will show you the colours. Thank you for being patient with me. So head over to totallybeads.co.uk and you can find the Juno looped necklace. It comes in light aqua, the debatable pastel purple, the peach, which we think is more gold, and the rosewood. All of your kits are £6.99. We ship worldwide, so if you need to change your currency, you can do so at the top of the page here. We've also got an offer on that you can buy 2 kits and you can get 10% off. Everything that you need to make these necklaces are included in your kit. So this is how it will look when you have put it all together. But of course, if you prefer, you can make shorter sections. You could do a little bracelet with it. They are very pretty and they are worth the time. If you feel like you would be better maybe using, as Angela said, a large eye needle, then do give it a go and see what works for you. Rachel says thank you. Mina says thank you. Camille says it's cute. Thank you so much for being patient with me today. I apologise about the issues we had with the camera freezing. I don't know what's going on. I'm hoping by Friday it will be all smooth sailing. I'm going to be making some bracelets with you. I've still got one more colour sample to make up. I'll give you a sneaky peek for being so good. So I'm going to be making these lovelies, very, very pretty, and they are going to be done with thread, and I'm going to be using 2 needles, size 10 needles, so there's going to be lots of lovely things in your kit. I think this is what I'm doing Friday anyway. I am a little bit behind in terms of my scheduling. So Simon, if you're watching, I do apologise. I'll get busy today. It's just been one of those weeks. Star says, lovely make. Thank you. Thank you so much. Kat says, very pretty necklace. And Tracy says, well done. Stay professional under stress as always. Well, I didn't say any naughty words, did I? I might do when I finish. I'm going to go and have a cuppa. Trish says it's lovely. Thanks, Trish. I'm going to have some lovely colours for you. Seed beads, crystals, pearls, the whole shebang. Judith says, we're always good. I know you are. Thank you so much. Have a lovely week, everybody. I hope the weather picks up and, just stay happy, stay making, and I'll see you on Friday.